Blink and you'll miss it. This is NXT.
Support, no DQ.
Welcome everybody to What's NXT for July 10th, 2019. I'm your host, the Rated R reviewer, Stefan Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
Good evening, wrestling fans.
And tonight our show was brief.
Yeah.
Let's just say blink and you'll fucking miss it. We had 3 matches, which is fine. Normally I prefer 4, but this was like 48 minutes. So 3's fine. We start off the night with Io Shirai coming out, and you wouldn't know it at first.
Yep, great new music.
Lights are dim, like almost out.
Yeah.
And you see some Japanese on the big Tron.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, who the fuck is this? I know this isn't Kushida's music, so who the hell's coming out? And then it says Io Shirai. And it's like, oh, okay. Because she's got some new music. It's like a little bit techno, a little bit hip-hop. And she's got a new look, or at least for coming out for the interview. Just a black, I think like a tube top.
Yep.
And black leather pants. And she slowly comes to the ring. And I said this show was brief. This promo was brief because she's not coming out for a match. She comes out with the microphone. And she looks at the crowd. And she says,
I don't need friends.
I don't need friends. And I don't need any of you. Drops the mic. Heads back up the ramp.
Yep.
Simple, short,
effective.
Everything she needed to say and no more, because I feel like if you gave her any more, she'd start slipping up on her English and it wouldn't be as effective. This was extremely effective. On her way to the ring, they showed the replay of what, I think it was 2 weeks ago at this point.
Yeah.
At the end of the night when she turned on Candice LeRae and beat her with a chair and then suplexed her onto a chair. And this was fine. This is cementing the fact that Io Shirai definitely is a heel now because she's got all new music, all new look. I like it.
Well, I think it's finally going to give her a little bit more of a dimension and scoot her away from the whole Sky Pirates angle.
Yeah, I like it way better than the fucking Genius of the Sky super baby face.
Yeah.
This is going to be nice.
Yes.
I hope. After this, we get a... It's not really an interview. It's not really
a press conference.
Yeah, this is a press conference.
Yes.
Velveteen Dream, that's who I mean by he, is at Full Sail, but he's in some big room and he's behind a podium. And he's got the North American Championship on top of the podium and he's taking questions. What's interesting about this is he only takes 2 questions. And the first one... I can't even remember what it was, but he tells the interviewer or the reporter or whomever that was not an approved question.
Yeah. Who does he have in mind for his next opponent? And then the second question is like, well, Roderick Strong has made it known that he wants to wrestle you.
Okay, first and foremost, he hasn't made shit known.
Yeah.
As far as I know, watching the product, Strong hasn't made anything known at all. All we know is that in that, what was it, a tag match or a 6-man tag match?
Yeah, it was a 6-man tag.
In that 6-man tag match, he pinned Velveteen Dream.
Yeah.
That's all we know, which normally would get you a shot at the championship.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the very least, he's pinned Velveteen Dream. But Velveteen Dream says he hasn't done anything to earn a championship. And I'm like, that's almost the exact opposite of what he did.
Yeah.
He definitely earned a championship opportunity by pinning Velveteen Dream. So, I don't know. This seemed a little heelish from Velveteen Dream, Although I think his character is always a little bit heelish.
Oh, he's always been a little bit of a tweener. Like, a flamboyant one at that, but he's always going to get cheers from the crowd regardless of what he does.
I guess. This is just, to me, this seemed a little cowardly.
Yeah, and also...
Not the good kind of heel.
And it doesn't answer any questions in any way, shape, or form. So,
well, what this did for me, the question that it answered is, are they really looking at Roderick Strong as a contender for the North American Championship? Because they really haven't said anything. Like I said, he hasn't made any challenges. Nobody has really said that coming off of that pinfall that he should get a shot. This is insinuating that now he should get a shot.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with this. Our first match of the night is Damian Priest, and this is his second match as Damian Priest. So you know he's not going to lose.
No.
He is the Archer of Infamy, and I think his arching timing towards the screen is a little off, so he's got to get used to that. But this has got to be the best entrance in NXT right now.
Yeah.
It is so fucking cool. So he comes out and it's pitch black. You can kind of see him lit by a few spotlights, but he goes and he pulls, you know, an invisible bow and arrow at the screen, and he lets it go, and then his name emblazons in fire. And then he gets to the ring and he shoots up, and that fucking Tron above the ring emblazons his name in fire. The music's awesome. The look is awesome. His seriousness coming out to the ring is awesome. Jerry said this is following up on Aleister Black leaving. You know, this is taking his
Mystique, yeah.
Yeah, and giving it to Damian Priest. And I think the Mystique, sure, but Damian Priest is nowhere near as good of a striker as
Aleister
yeah,
Black?
that other guy.
Yeah, the one that just kind of.
You would think I'd remember that name.
The one that's just kind of sitting in the room right now. Yeah.
The one that's going to fight Cesaro.
Yes.
At Extreme Rules. I think that is a great choice, but we won't go into that. That's main roster.
We'll be doing that in a little while.
Yeah, that's for another day. So he is facing tonight Blanco Loco. And if the name doesn't give it away, this is a white guy from Mexico.
New York. Mexico, New York.
So he is the crazy white, basically. I have very few notes for this. The one note I do have during the match was a Falcon Arrow that Damian Priest hit that was a throwing Falcon Arrow. He threw him like halfway across the fucking ring and still sat out for it, which I thought was hilarious because it does nothing for the move. Because he's already been launched into the air by the time he drops. But
maybe it's a showcase trajectory, but he didn't even have to do that. I think if he had just remained standing, it would have been cool.
I think without the sit out, you don't call it a Falcon Arrow.
Yeah.
So he had to do the sit out. And my words got duplicated by Mauro Ranallo. It's like how appropriate it is that the Archer of Infamy hits a Falcon Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
It would have only been cooler if he'd have hit a fucking red arrow from the top rope. That would have been sweet. But I think he might be a little bit too big to do that. He wins this match with what they called the Cyclone Kick, which to me is a standing Trouble in Paradise.
Yeah.
And then he follows that up with
the Reckoning. Crossroads.
He calls it the Reckoning. It's a crossroads. It's an inverted swinging neck breaker.
Mm-hmm.
Fine finishing move for him. I think he could be a little more original, but I don't see anybody else using the crossroads, so sure, why not?
And not many people can pull it off and make it look right. He actually does it in a pretty decent flow versus some other people who kind of botch it.
He is serious as shit through this match, and they say that he has reason to be pissed off, and I'm like, why? Blanco didn't really do anything to piss him off. Like, he's just out there for a match. But he hits a couple of lariats that just... The first one not only turns Blanco inside out, but upside down, too. Like, he fucking falls some kind of way. Second one, supposed to be just as brutal. Didn't look just as brutal. That first one was awesome, though.
Yeah.
Of course, Damian Priest wins. They're building him up. He is new. So... After this, we get another... This is our third installment of the Killian Dane promos, where he's watching 8mm film, and we finally get...
Ireland just burning down.
Yeah, we finally get a little bit of insight into the videos that he's watching. he is remembering, I guess he said like 40 years ago, 30 or 40 years ago.
30 years ago.
I don't know if it was riots or what was going on, if it was they were rioting against the government or what. I don't know what was going on, honestly. My history knowledge of Ireland is not that good. But apparently there was a lot of shit going on. He had a pipe bomb go off, I guess, in a car right on his block. Like that's why he doesn't have hearing, I think he said in 1 year.
That's kind of stuff that happens in Northern Ireland. So, yeah.
He said out of his entire graduating class, he is the only male still surviving.
Yep.
And he uses these memories
in the ring.
In the ring. So he is coming soon. We still don't know when, but I'm okay with this. This is something I haven't seen before.
Yeah. Like pretty much using PTSD in the ring to pretty much destroy anybody in his path.
Basically. Up next, we got our second match of the night. This is the third in the first round matches for the Breakout Tournament. We've got Boa, who is NXT homegrown.
Yep.
Versus Jordan Miles, who is a 13-year veteran. And he is smiley.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. He's got a lot of personality,
a lot of charisma
in his teeth. They call him fast, but most of this match was actually really slow. A lot of rest holds, a lot of kicks by Boa that just didn't seem appropriate. He doesn't seem like a striker. He could very well be a striker, but he just doesn't seem like it because he's so slow.
Yeah.
And he's so green. Oh my God, there were so many spots in this match that he was just fumbling up, and I'm like, he makes help me out here.
Kona Reeves.
He makes Kona Reeves look like Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Like, he is super green. And I called for a Boa victory here, and halfway through the match, I knew that wasn't going to happen.
No.
Even if he was scheduled to win, they were going to make a call halfway through the match and say, never mind. He's not ready.
Drake would have grabbed onto his earbuds like, oh, we've changed.
We get a 450 splash after, I can't remember what they called it, but Miles did a discus lariat into the corner, into Boa, knocks him down, goes up top, wicked 450.
Oh, yes.
It looked like it had a lot of power behind it. 1, 2, 3. Jordan Miles wins. There was some spots in this match that were cool, but for the most part, it was just a basic match.
Yeah, we had the Sears portrait pose at the end by Miles, just
smiling real huge, laying on the mat, smiling. He was smiling for the 3 count.
I'm actually really anxious to see him versus Angel Garza.
Yes, because that is going to be him versus another veteran, and we might actually see some cool shit out of Jordan Miles. I'm pretty sure the reason this match was so bland was because Boa is greener than a dollar bill.
And you have Garza, who's like a third-generation superstar, Lucha Libre inspired. That is going to be an insane match.
Yeah, and Jordan Miles is easily the babyface.
Yeah.
And we know this because when we saw Garza come out, you know, he was doing the cool heel. Like, the crowd loved him because he was the cool heel, but he was definitely doing the cool heel. So this ought to be a good match. We're not going to get that for another 2 or 3 weeks, though. At least.
Well, next week we have Dexter Lumis versus Bronson Reed.
Yeah. So we might get that in 2 weeks, or we might get that in 3, or they might put a week in there. Who knows?
I think they'll put them both in one night.
No, I don't think they're going to do that. I honestly don't think they're going to do that. That would be too much of the breakout, because max you get 4 matches usually.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. I mean, you might be right, but I don't see it happening. After this, we get an interview backstage with Shayna Baszler, and they are, of course, asking her about Mia Yim, because it looks like Mia Yim is going to be the next contender for the title. Basically, they said she's put out a challenge, and Shayna says she's noticed Mia Yim, and she watched her tell her story about, you know, growing up poor in the slums, you know, fighting with the Koreans and the blacks, and
pretty much says her story is just stereotypical of any sports athlete going into any sport.
Yeah, and you don't really think about it, but as soon as Shayna says that, it's like, she's fucking right. There is a lot of fighters that say they came from, you know, a poor background, you know, a brutal background, and if they hadn't found martial arts or MMA or wrestling,
basketball, or haven't found football, or haven't found wrestling, or haven't found miniature golf, it doesn't matter.
They'd be in jail. And this might be the case, but it's the case for a lot of people as well. And so Shayna's right. She says the story is always the same, though, when they get into the ring with her.
Tap, tap, snap.
Yeah. Or I thought she said tap, nap, snap.
Tap, nap, snap.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this just because I always love watching Shayna Baszler wrestle. I don't care if it is Mia Yim. However, I have gotten a little bit more solid on Mia Yim over the last couple of weeks.
Well, she's gotten better over the past couple of weeks.
That last match that she had with Bianca Belair, that rubber match, was awesome.
Yeah.
Made her look great. So I'm looking forward to this match. I think we're getting it in 2 weeks. We might be getting that at the pay-per-view.
I think we're gonna get that at the Toronto.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I would rather see her versus Candice LeRae, but I'm okay with that.
I think we'll get Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae before that.
Yeah, probably. So after that interview, we've got a video promo with the one and only Keith Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, one and only is Ricochet. He is a Limitless, but not necessarily for long. He talks in this promo about how he is never usually the guy. Like, he doesn't get picked out to be the guy, the top champion or anything like that. But somehow he always ends up there.
Yeah.
But he has been in NXT for a year now, and he hasn't gotten there yet. And he thinks it's because basking in the glory and being the Limitless one is not enough.
Yeah.
He has to go beyond that, and his new catchphrase, or nickname, or whatever,
it's going to be Infinite.
The Infinite.
Yes.
And I really like that. Doesn't necessarily make sense, but I like it.
But yeah, that for some reason, he makes it work.
Yeah, this was a great promo.
Because that's what Keith Lee does. He speaks sternly, he speaks confidently, but then he goes in there and he kicks ass at the same time.
I don't care what they call him. I just want to see the match between him and Dominik Dijakovic that we should have gotten after the double countout.
We haven't seen Dijakovic in weeks either. So.
Yeah, he's injured.
Yeah.
One of them gets injured and then comes back and the other one gets injured. That's how this is happening. I'm hoping that they haven't forgotten that we are still waiting on that match. But they might have. They might just be like, it's time to move on. I'm still hoping for that match because that is going to be a fucking classic.
Oh, yeah. Especially if they make it falls count anywhere.
Oh, man, that would be awesome. After this, we get a interview with William Regal. This is outside. I guess he has requested this interview.
For big news!
Big news!
Massive! And it's about Kushida!
Yeah, so whatever, man. Like, Kushida has not impressed me yet. I mean, I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but I'm just saying, he hasn't impressed me yet. I'm not saying he can't. Maybe he will next week.
We've said the same thing about Matt Riddle. We've said the same thing about Mia Yim.
This is true.
So just give us a little bit of time, people. But Kushida right now, we're not sold on.
So next week, his opponent is going to be somebody from another brand. As we've seen lately, we had Drew Gulak from 205 Live. We had NXT UK's Cassius Ohno. And now we're going to get somebody from SmackDown. Apollo Crews is coming back to NXT next week to face Kushida. And I'm excited by this because this is the kind of guy that we haven't seen Kushida face yet.
Yeah.
Somebody that's way bigger and way more powerful than he is. And I'm looking forward to it because not only is he bigger and more powerful, but Apollo Crews can also fly with the best of them, including Kushida.
Yeah.
So this ought to be a sweet match. I'm hoping he brings out something in Kushida that we can find entertaining. Because as of yet, I'm not on the bandwagon yet.
Nope.
You can send him back to the future for all I care. Also next week, we are going to get Adam Cole. And this is going to be an NXT Championship match. They don't say who his opponent's going to be. But they do announce that he is going to defend the title next week. And I'm like...
I think it's going to be a handpicked. I think it's going to be a handpicked opponent, and I think somebody's going to interfere. Probably Gargano.
Well, your original prediction was that it was just going to be a jobber, and I'm like, you can't do that. You can't give a jobber an NXT Championship match. You got to fucking earn that shit. There's only one jobber that I think the crowd would get behind enough that this would make sense.
The Boogs.
The Boogs. Eric Bugenhagen. If they bring him back next week for this, I'm totally okay with it. Other than that, any other jobber, and I am not okay with it. Unless, like you said, somehow Adam Cole calls his own opponent, and then, of course, he's going to pick a jobber. Kind of like the Iconics did a couple of months ago on SmackDown when they brought in a jobber team nobody had ever heard of and gave them a tag team championship match.
Like pretty much pull somebody that's international or whatnot, and like internationally known but not known to anybody in Full Sail, but just be a complete jobber.
But I agree. I think Johnny Gargano is going to get involved in that somehow, some way, because this is leading towards Cole Gargano 2 or 3. And we're probably going to get that at NXT TakeOver, which I'm fine with as well. Because right now, I would say they are the two best in NXT. Barring maybe Matt Riddle and maybe Velveteen Dream. But as far as main event goes, yeah, they are the two best in NXT. So I'm looking forward to that in a few weeks. Not really sure whether I'm looking forward to the championship match next week.
No.
But we shall see. We are now on to the main event, though. And like I said, this show flew by.
Yeah.
I had to back it up a couple of times because I did blink and I missed shit. Mostly in the Damian Priest match, which was like less than a handful of minutes, including the entrances anyway. So up next we've got the Street Profits. That is Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins.
Very good.
They are the NXT Tag Team Champions. They are defending the titles against Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Now, they're supposed to be the Brit and Bruisers, but there was one point during this match that Nigel McGuinness called them the Brit and Brawlers. And I'm hoping that that sticks. Because Pete Dunne is the bruiserweight.
Yeah.
And you do not step on that.
No.
He had a title reign for damn near 2 years. You do not step on that. He is the bruiserweight. They can be the Brit and Brawlers. Sounds better to me anyway.
Yeah. It'll look better on the shirts.
This match was action from beginning to end. I don't think I saw one rest hold in this entire fucking match.
Well, they had like 18 minutes to do what they needed to do for a championship match.
They had 13 and a half minutes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. After the entrances. Street Profits took about 4 minutes of it. And then you had Lorcan and Burch just come out doing their stomps in the ring, the 2-1, and just get in the ring, just get in their face. And that was it.
And then the new ring announcer, and I gotta say, I miss Kayla Braxton, but this chick actually stopped after one fall and let the crowd say one fall, so I'm kind of okay with that. But the only downtime in this match was towards the beginning. We had a double flapjack from the Street Profits onto one of the white guys, and then another double flapjack onto the other white guy onto his partner. They're both white. They're both bald. They both look ugly. I don't know which is which usually during the match.
Yeah.
It's not like the Forgotten Sons where they actually have their names on their tights, and Cutler's got that big-ass tattoo on his back, so it's easy to remember them.
Lorcan,
these guys not so much.
I always remember Lorcan's got more stubble on his head than Burch does.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
If he lands where you can see his head.
It's like, oh, I see a beard. That's Lorcan.
Well, they come off of this, and then they stack him up, draping him over the middle rope, and then Montez Ford comes over Dawkins with that crotch to the back, basically, onto both of them. They both fall down. They both roll out of the ring, and this is where they get their bearings back. But that is the slowest part of this whole match.
Yeah.
And then it goes from there. I've got some more notes, but before I get into that and the finish, what do you think about the main event, Jerry?
I thought it was pretty much everything was going to be. Like, I thought there should be some sort of interference towards the end, something to break up the match. Something.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm glad, I'm not going to say it right now, I'm glad the Street Profits got the win.
Yeah,
because they needed a clean win, and they needed to not be transitional champions.
This is true.
Because, like, Forgotten Sons, now they're saying that was a championship match, even though it wasn't really sanctioned until, like, the last second. So, for them to have now had, I guess you'd say, 2 successful title defenses, one match that kind of got thrown out.
Yeah, because of the interference and the disqualification by Jackson Ryker.
And a clean victory over, I'm going to say, 2 respected people in the company.
I mean, yeah, they're just, to me, they're kind of vanilla.
Well, it's not even that. They're just very traditional, and they're just kind of a manufactured team. The
coolest part about those guys is Oney Lorcan's sick fucking headbutt.
Oh, that's Danny Burch.
Or Danny, I think they both do it. But yeah, definitely, yeah. It's one of the bald white guys.
If they do like a hooligan gimmick, if they ever get called up, that's what they need to do.
So my next note here was Montez Ford with a belly to back kip-ups into a standing moonsault. And I'm going to call it, this is his standard move number 1, man. Like,
That's
awesome.
Just two for one special right there.
It just mirrors what's his name from NXT UK?
Jordan Devlin.
Yeah, it just mirrors Jordan Devlin's move number 1.
Uranagi into the moonsault.
Yep. So after this, he gets a near fall. Of course, that's not going to win the match, especially not one person doing their own moves. But anyway, after this, we get dueling corkscrew splashes into the corner. So we get Dawkins first.
Yep.
And then Montez Ford does it. And I was slightly saddened by that.
Yeah, it looked kind of featherweight compared to Angelo Dawkins.
Yeah, up to this point, the only person we've seen do that corkscrew splash into the corner was Angelo Dawkins, and I'm sitting here thinking that's his move.
Yeah.
And now Montez Ford, the guy that's got all the other flashy moves, is now doing it, and I'm like, fuck.
But he doesn't look nearly as cool or as impactful as Angelo Dawkins.
That's true, because he's not nearly as big.
Yeah.
But the reason he did it was so he could come out of the corner with, let's say, Lorcan. I don't fucking know who it was. Let's say Lorcan. He comes out of the corner into it with a sliced bread number 2 off of Angelo Dawkins' assisted flip up.
Yep.
I believe they got a near fall for that.
Yeah,
but still pretty sweet. I just think he could have gone into the corner with a different move. Corkscrew it, sure, but don't land the splash. Land something else. Land a forearm. Fucking something.
I think it'd be cool if he just ran off and flipped.
That is Dawkins' only cool move.
Yeah.
Don't steal it. Fuck.
Short of this impressive spine buster that we got to see.
The only thing that pisses me off more than that is when Jeff Hardy does the twist of fate.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need to do Matt Hardy's finishing move, Jeff Hardy. You have your own fucking finishing move, and everybody loves it. That swanton, everybody loves it. You don't have to do the...
It's not even a good-looking swanton.
I hate that shit.
It's just a flail.
I hate that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Tag team partners stealing their partners' sweet moves. I guess he's okay with it, but I'm not. After this, they go for that electric blockbuster, that electric chair blockbuster off the top rope, and Lorcan gets out of it. So he shimmies down Dawkins' back, sends Dawkins into the corner, which knocks Ford off and to the outside. So he's gone for a moment. And this is where we think that maybe the tag titles are going to change hands here, because we get the hot tag to Birch. He comes in. He gets some offense, but nothing that's going to get him a victory. And then they just start trading shit. Like, all 4 guys in the ring all of them get laid out after a sick headbutt and then a spear by Dawkins.
Support, no DQ.
So all 4 guys are down. And Angelo Dawkins and Birch roll to the outside.
Yeah.
They're the legal men. So in the ring, you've got the 2 illegal men. You've got Montez Ford and Oni Lorcan.
Oni Lorcan.
Oni Lorcan, yeah. They're ugly, they're white, and they're bald. I cannot tell the difference. I'm sorry. And their names just jumble up together anyway. So they're trading blows, and Montez Ford ends up doing a super kick to the gut, and then a knee to the face on Oni Lorcan, and then he runs at him. And Lorcan sees it coming, and he ducks. So since he ducks, Montez Ford takes the opportunity to dive over the top rope, as only he can do because of his fucking jumping ability, Jesus. And he lands on Danny Burch on the outside on the ramp, and then they just splay out. So Oni Lorcan in the ring decides he's going to do some fun shit too. He takes off at the other ropes, comes back, goes for a suicide dive, but he gets caught by Dawkins. Man, punched right to the face as he's trying to go through the middle rope. Lays him out. Dawkins gets into the ring, and I think Birch...
Just as Birch is running in.
Birch runs in, and he runs right into a spinebuster slam. Montez Ford's already gone to the top rope. Moonsault, and you know it's a fucking...
not even moonsault. Frog splash.
Frog splash,
yeah,
I'm
that
sorry.
Frog splash.
Frog splash that touched a light somewhere at the top of that Full Sail.
He high-fived the Hubble.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Clean victory. The Street Profits retain. This was great.
Oh, yeah.
This was a fast-paced match from beginning to end. It had a clean finish, and it had a little bit of aftermatch.
Yeah.
Nothing physical, but we had Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish come out to the entranceway to the stage and just clap.
Mm-hmm. They're the only team left on that fatal four-way that's left.
Yeah, so I guess this is our next tag team feud for the titles. Probably going to get it at TakeOver. I'm okay with that.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking Undisputed Era versus the Street Profits 2-on-2 for the titles. That's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we leave off. This ends the show. Just a little bit of anticipation for that eventual feud and match.
Yeah.
So, great main event. I mean, this brings us to the end of the show, and here on What's NXT, we rate the main event using the General's 5-star rating system. So let's go right into it, Jerry. Where do you put this main event?
I'm going to go with 3.75 because like, it's action-packed, like you said, all the way through. There was very little slowing down, and we got to see the moves of doom, more or less, out of the Street Profits.
Or at least attempted.
Yeah. The Lorcan and Birch, they're formidable. We'll say that much. But at the same time, there wasn't really that inkling, really, at any point that the Street Profits were going to lose the belts. There's a good chance of it since we've been seeing them on Raw. I thought it's okay, this is where they're going to drop them. This is when we're never going to see them again. But I also like the idea of them not being transitional champions, which I felt, even though they had beaten the Forgotten Sons by a disqualification this last time, it didn't really feel like a title defense until they made it a title defense right at the beginning of the match.
Yeah, I was really expecting the Forgotten Sons to come out and interfere in this match and cause a disqualification, mostly because last week they told Regal that they were not going to forget that he put them back at the back of the line.
Yeah.
Back of the queue.
So, not even sure what's going on with that. Maybe they'll actually just start feuding with Regal. And then they'll bring down Dave Taylor, and Dave Taylor busts all their heads.
Oh, please God, no.
But I really enjoyed the match, naturally, especially since Street Profits actually pulled off the victory. But then the aftermatch is what kind of sold me on to, is the fact that it's okay, you beat the Forgotten Sons, you beat Lorcan and Birch, yay, 101 and everything.
Now beating American Dragon.
It's like now beat Red Dragon.
Sorry, Red Dragon. American Dragon, that was...
Bryan Danielson.
Yeah,
Daniel Bryan. But 3.75 sounds ultra fair. The show itself set up for a lot for the for what we'll be seeing in the next couple episodes before the pay-per-view. So it was a pretty exciting show, but it wasn't enough to boost it up to a 4.
Yeah, this match was more than 10 minutes. I don't know if it was exactly 13 and a half. It might have been 12 for all I know. But it was more than 10 minutes, and it seemed like 4 or 5. That's how fast-paced this match was. It was entertaining from beginning to end. Really, really good, but I got to agree, I can't call it great. Yeah. Even with the aftermatch and everything else, I can't give it an extra quarter star coming off the back of a great show, because it really wasn't a great show. But all of it was really good. Next best thing to 4, I got to agree, 3.75 stars. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm going to give the main event as well. And that brings us to the end of this episode of What's NXT. Thank you very much for joining us. Probably the shortest episode we've ever done. Please join us tomorrow for the NXT party. We will have, I think, Chris Mace.
Chris Mace should be up there. Chris Mace said he'd be here.
I don't know if we'll have anybody else, but we'll at least have Chris Mace, so we look forward to that. If you would like to join us on a future episode of the NXT party, come have a spot of NXT with us and help us review a future episode of NXT UK. You can find me on Twitter. Go to nodq.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. Which side? It's been a while. That side. And if you just want to look me up on Twitter, it's at Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can also find the gentleman on Twitter.
At NoDQ General, and also my Facebook group Armbar, all capital, ARMBAR,
exclamation point!
We're almost at 80 members again. I know some of them, they're nice. But a lot more activity going on in there now, a lot more discussion, so come join us. But don't try to join us on add us on Facebook.
Yeah, that's a losing battle. I had somebody do that the other day. Yeah. He's friends with all of Team NoDQ, and I'm just like, you're not going to be friends with me.
Yeah.
Spoilers go to Twitter, sir. Spoilers go to Twitter. So, you can find us on Twitter, you can find us on Armbar, and you can also find me on Instagram at osborne.stefan. That just happened out of the blue. So come follow me, even though I don't post anything. And speaking of members, We are now at 90 subscribers on our channel, Aftermatch Wrestling. That's where these videos go first and in HD. That's all one word, Aftermatch, AFTERMATCH, Wrestling. And we are on our way to 100 subscribers. At 100, we are going to start doing this show, What's NXT, live on NoDQ.com's YouTube channel. So, click that subscribe button. Click that like button if you like our video. And if you want to help us get to 100 subscribers, find us on Aftermatch and click that share button. Share us on Twitter, share us on Facebook, share us with your friends that like wrestling, especially if they like NXT UK, because we're always looking for new members of the NXT team to come and help us review shows, help us do a rated R report, help us do predictions for main event, or for main roster.
Talk about Pauly Shore movies, whatever.
Yeah, we do all kinds of stuff. The newest member to the NXT team, Chris Willis, he got 2 shows by himself.
Oh yeah,
in the same week.
And he's had ball so far.
Yeah, so we are finally at another member, but we always can use more. We'll put you in the NXT team group chat. You'll be official member. Everything else, we'll give you a fucking nickname.
Yes.
That's how much we'll do for you. Anyway, so I think that is all of the plugs.
Yes.
And we are at nothing.
Yep.
Nothing time-wise. So this is awesome. I guess this would be the time to plug Toronto.
Oh, also, there's a t-shirt. Oh no, t-shirt sale ended over the weekend.
Yeah, if you still want to support NoDQ, you can go to nodq.com/shirts, and that'll take you to Pro Wrestling Tees, and you can buy my shirt. It's orange. It's great. You can buy Cindy's shirt. Most of the members of Team NoDQ have a shirt. Even K-Vabe Candy Ass. He's got a shirt with a guitar on it. I've got it. It's really great. I've got most everybody's shirts. At least one for everybody. I didn't buy the one from Virtue, though. He gave that one to me. So, he gave me a goal, though, because it was only an extra large. It wasn't a 2X. And I have lost the weight. It actually looks good on me now. So, there you go. So, thank you, Virtue.
But yeah,
and
Toronto.
Go to nodq.com/Toronto, and that'll give you the details for the meetup. Should be a big NoDQ meetup. There is going to be a lot of NoDQ personalities there, including Jerry and myself.
All the way from Kentucky.
Yeah, we're going to drive 12 hours to fucking Toronto. Well, it says 10 and a half, but I'm sure after he stops to pee every couple of hours.
There should be no stopping.
I don't stop. I just don't drink nothing.
There's going to be no stopping.
No, you're not whipping out your
I'm going to Lloyd Christmas that shit.
Not much, actually not. And
just
not with that.
Just don't hit any potholes.
Oh, so we're going to pull back the curtain here. I have a Toyota Tacoma, and it's a short cab. And he is 6'4", going on 6'5", and he climbs into that sumbitch head first because it is so small. I cannot imagine you, knees to the dash, trying to pee in a bottle, and it's not going to happen.
It won't be successful at all.
But if you want to meet us in person, you can find us in Toronto for SummerSlam. We will be at NXT TakeOver. We will be at SummerSlam, and we will be at the NoDQ meetup before SummerSlam. So,
that's it.
For the General Jerry Slaughter, I am the Wizard of NoDQ, STEFAN Osborne. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in NXT time.